So lately in my Facebook group and in some of my online posts, I've been focusing a lot about on the creating the importance of creating a morning routine. And so I decided to make a video about it because every time I bring that up, there's always a lot of interest, and a lot of my one-on-one coaching clients actually ask for help in doing a morning routine because, to my surprise, it's something they never really thought of, structuring their morning. Um, so I guess first I'll just give a little bit of background on why it's so important to have a morning routine and what a morning routine is, because maybe, not everyone understands exactly what having a set routine means. So a morning routine is basically a procedure, a step-by-step procedure that you go through every morning to not only just get your hygiene together and get dressed and get ready to go, but to make sure that you're mentally grounded, that you're spiritually grounded, you're emotionally grounded, and that you feel a sense of security within yourself, that you have prepared yourself before venturing out into the world and interacting with other people. Or even if you have roommates or family at home, it's important to just have a moment to yourself before interacting with them, because whatever energy you have when you wake up and whatever energy you take with you between bed and, if you get up on the wrong side of the bed, you skip breakfast, whatever, that is the energy you will take along with you when you're interacting with the world. And that's why it's so important to just make sure that everything is right and in order before you present yourself and before you go on and play your important part in other people's lives, in the world, at work, or wherever you go, whatever you do. So, um, so I guess I'll get into what a morning routine entails. I always recommend that first, I recommend that people know what time they're supposed to wake up. Like if you want to set, actually I do suggest that you set the same time every day as your wake up time. Even if you have to be at work a little later on some days compared to others, it's important to sort of program, maybe that's like kind of a word with a negative connotation, but it's important to train, maybe that's a better word, to train your body, or to signal yourself, to give yourself a cue as to what to expect, and when you're gonna go to sleep, when you're gonna wake up, because your sleep cycles are very important. And as a result, the time you wake up in the morning is also going to be important. So choose a wake up time. I would say make it like a couple, maybe even 3 hours before you need to leave the house if you can. It just depends on how much time you have, how early you have to get out, if you love mornings, if you hate them, whatever. I am not a morning person, I admit, but having a morning routine and wake up time and all that, those are things that I work on. I really focus on attempting to get that part right, because I know that it sets the tone for the rest of your day. So having said that, the first thing, obviously, you set your wake up time, but I would say set the alarm for 15 minutes before that, just so that you can give yourself time to, hit the snooze button. Most of us don't feel like popping out of bed the minute the alarm goes off. So a trick that I use is I set the alarm for 15 minutes before I actually need to wake up, so that I can go through that, the stutter start, as I call it sometimes, that many of us have, especially if you're not a morning person. So, set your alarm for 15 minutes early, and when the final, the final reset, the final alarm goes off, let's say you're waking up at 6, and so you set your alarm before it 5:45, and you've hit the snooze button or whatever you're gonna do, and finally it really is 6 o'clock and it's time for you to get up. I recommend setting aside 15 minutes to a half hour, even if you can do it, depending on how much time you need or how helpful you find this activity to be, but I think everyone needs it. And that is to set aside quiet time. And whether, regardless your religion or your spirituality, people need time to just be still and to be silent. And whether that includes listening to music for you, a lot of people love to listen to music to sort of set the tone and get them in the mood for starting the day. If you're a person of the book, if you're into scripture, then, you know, read scripture, prayer, if you're a prayer person, meditation, whatever you need to do to sort of spend time in kind of your meditative space. Also a good time to do positive affirmations if you're into that. I'm also a huge fan. I recently became a fan of writing out your ideal day. And so that means just envisioning how you would like the day to go and writing it down and thinking about practical steps you could even take to make that happen. And just sort of daydreaming. I've heard it referred to as daydreaming, brainstorming, whatever. But envision how you want your day to go and write it down and let that become your focus. Not to the extent that you're completely wound up and just like inflexible and that, you know, you're going to have a miserable day if those things don't happen. But imagine those things as if they already are. Create a positive mind space and proceed according to that vision that you have of your day. And that'll do a lot to improve your mood. It'll do a lot. I believe practically when you envision things to happen the way you want them to, and you go through like the logical steps of, oh, how can this happen? Is there anything I can do to increase the likelihood? When you shift your focus to that, I believe that your brain subconsciously will also consider what needs to be done in order to make that vision a reality. So the way you think changes, the way you make decisions will shift. And I think that's a good thing. And it increases the likelihood of you achieving your goals. So now that we have covered, quiet time, let's call it, then, you know, you can, if you're a morning workout person, it's a good time to do that. I tried a morning workout for the first time today, and I really enjoyed it, actually. As I said before, I'm not a morning person, so I usually work out in the evening, but I actually really enjoyed working out in the morning, and I felt that I had more energy and was able to do a better workout, doing it first thing. So, or not first thing, like I had my quiet time before that. I drank some water before that. That's another thing. Like I'm into habit trackers and things like that. And so I sort of record how much water I drink, and I'm very mindful of that because I'm naturally not a water drinking person. I don't think it necessarily tastes good, as odd as that sounds, even though like I know that there are people in the world that need fresh drinking water and it's a luxury. But yeah, that's why I'm making an effort to appreciate it that much more. Anyway, that was a bit of a tangent. So, yeah, so if you're going to get your workout in, get it in after your quiet time, if you'd prefer to do that in the morning. And so after you do your quiet time, you do your workout, obviously you hit the shower. I am a huge fan of aromatherapy, and there are very, very simple ways to introduce aromatherapy into your lifestyle, and certain scents will improve your focus. They lift your mood. I am a peppermint oil person. For me, it wakes me up. Like if I'm sleepy, if I'm drowsy, just smelling peppermint oil will wake me up. It also will perk up my mood, and just makes me feel better and clean, and it's very cleansing smell for me. So I highly recommend doing some research into aromatherapy, different scents, different essential oils, and the simple ways you can use them. Maybe I'll do a video on that, actually. But even just like creating a steam shower and putting a few drops of oil on a wet washcloth, that'll help the smell expand and spread around the shower, and like the warmth of the water will help you have like a nice aromatherapy vapor going. But this stuff really does work. It really does enhance your mindset. So I'm really into the aromatherapy thing. Also tea. Like I recommend for some of my clients, I'm just like, you know what, at 4:15, after you're done with, your client calls or whatever, your work calls, your emails, you are going to schedule a 15-minute block of time to just decompose or to just decompress and to have a cup of tea. Tea can be very relaxing. Depends on what blend you're into. Again, the aromatherapy can get sort of incorporated into that with certain varieties of tea. But so after you shower, obviously get dressed. I really recommend having breakfast for everyone, even if it's something quick. Just getting something that's high in protein will help you have the energy to get through your day, which will impact your mood in a positive way. A lot of us, we're so busy, we're so rushed, we skip breakfast, or we have something that's full of carbs or full of sugar, and we don't really supply ourselves with the fuel we need to get through the day and to be in a good mood. And so those are just some quick morning tips. Obviously, you have your breakfast. You can do just like a 10-minute, 15-minute breakfast, a protein shake, smoothie type deal, something that's got some protein in it and that is healthy and that will get you started. It'll help you avoid junk food and vending machines that work if you have those, and snacking and grazing on high calorie foods throughout the day. But that's nutrition. That's a whole other topic, but that little tip will help you if that's one of your struggles or one of your areas where you're looking to improve. So after you have your breakfast, then, it's pretty much up to you. Obviously you get dressed and, do your hair and makeup if you're into makeup and all that. And then at that point, you're pretty much ready to head out and begin your day at work. But the whole purpose is to set a routine, like actually write it out, envision how your ideal morning looks, and then put it on paper and make it happen and repeat it again and again and again until it becomes habit. And you'll absolutely have better days. You'll be in a better headspace in the morning. Another quick tip is to spend 15 minutes doing something you really enjoy in the morning, whether it's, if you're into playing guitar, if you like to read, you can have 15 minutes of reading time, whatever it is. As long as it's productive or like a constructive, healthy activity, hobby, it's a good thing to do in the morning because that also affects your mindset and puts you in a positive space to begin the day. So with that said, I hope these tips are helpful. Join my Facebook group. In there, I've actually posted a sample morning routine. And for my clients, I actually, upon request, if they struggle with getting to work on time or with, just like being in a good space in the mornings, they'll request that I create a routine for them, completely customized. And I'm actually offering, if you join my Facebook group, I will personally work with you one-on-one. I'll just send you a quick questionnaire, to get all the info I need about your lifestyle and what you'd like to do in the morning. And I will actually help you put together a morning routine for yourself that you can just read and follow and hopefully get started off on the right foot and, have better days. That's what this is all about. So I hope those tips are helpful and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.